Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, AlphaFish, and today we are going to be talking about basically how to sustain a castle after you unlock Tier 4. And this is both for free-to-play and pay-to-play players. So basically the idea is that when you start training Tier 4, they eat a lot of resources. They cost a lot of food, they cost a lot of stone, a lot of wood, or gold, and when you're trying to mass produce them, it gets really draining on resources. So, that's what we're here to talk about today. So what I do is I actually have 4 other accounts that I use for resource hypers. So one produces ore, one produces wood, one produces stone, and the other one food, right? And all of them contribute a little bit of gold. And when my main account gets too many resources to where I'm not going to use it all, I will sell chunks of it for gold, which helps me get gold. So I do share a lot of resources with my guild members, and they will use my main as a bank if they can't hold on to the resources themselves. So they do contribute some, but majority of my resources come from my hypers. You will have to have like something like BlueStacks or use some kind of app cloning application for mobile devices to sustain your other accounts. And I grew them to where they could like make their or purchase their own shields from guild or not guild gem farming, so that really helps. Let's see if I don't have any tier 4 in my infirmaries at the moment. So tier 4, just to train about 2,000 tier 2 or 2,000 tier 4 cost me like almost 3 million food. So just the small amount of troops costs an enormous amount of food. So really, when you finally unlock tier 4, whether you spend money or you don't, trying to accumulate enough resources to keep up troop training or healing is going to be a huge problem, even for people that pay money for their accounts, just because you'd spend a lot of money in resource bundles, and you really still, even then, you don't get enough. So I advise your guilds to have players with resource hypers in the guild that contribute to a guild bank and then use the guild bank. But what I highly recommend is you making your own resource hyper accounts and doing it yourself. You'll have to have 2 of those accounts that have like no troops, right? One to produce the food, the other one to hold the food, because you can't store food on your main account if you're training troops, right? So as you can see, my food is 0. I don't keep food on this account. Like, I don't make food on this account. Pretty much just use it for resource storage, because out of all of my accounts, most of the resources that I use go into this castle, so that's why I store them on this castle. Although theoretically I could use any of my castles to hold resources, because I keep them shielded all the time. I don't gather unless it's for KVK and I don't want to break my shield and trigger Fury. So majority of the time I just stay shielded, and I'm busy on the weekends. Like, I have, adult things to do, so I don't always have time to actually sit around and bait and trap and try to fight. So most of the time I'm gathering for KVK. so I just keep that shield up. That's the only time I gather, guys. Like, for an account that's nearly 3 years old, like, my gathering stats are, like, it's really bad. So, yeah, that's what I recommend, is to have 4 accounts. One for stone, one for wood, one for ore, and one for food, alright? And like I said, 2 of those can have troops, but the other 2 should not have any troops, because one of them will be producing food and the other one will be storing the food. And then anytime you need to use food, or you just hop over to your food bank and then move the food over to your main account. Having a big account, I'd say it's kind of a pain. It's kind of a pain because all it takes is one mistake and, like, you can lose everything. So there are some bonuses to it. You know, you can't. It's hard for other people to, like, bully you when you're big, but you have to maintain shield constantly. It's a lot of upkeep. You have to basically figure out what you're doing with your speed ups constantly, so you can reserve some speed ups and gems and stuff for troop training, unless you're spending money and then you just, you know, spend whatever and then train your troops. But, like, it's not as glorious as you think it is. There's like 3 phases of growing an account. There's phase 1, there's phase 2, and there's phase 3. Phase 1 is where you're so small you can hide all of your troops, and you can't exactly eat a solo march at all. I mean, you may be able to take one and smoke, but your enemy typically gets a walk back. Then there's phase 2, where you get so large to the point where you can't hide all of your troops, and typically at this point you can usually eat a solo. And phase 3 is where you can eat a rally. So phase 2 is a very long process if you don't spend money. Getting through phase 2 is very difficult, and it takes a lot of dedication and consistency with shielding, and it sucks. Phase 2 sucks. I'm currently growing a solo trap on one of my alts, so that I will be able to troll people again, because I miss being able to bait solo traps, like, you know, solo marches. It's super fun to do, and I miss doing it, so I decided to create it's still in progress, it's not finished, but I know I've had some people doubt the power of the solo trap that I did have with tier 3. I actually have another video on that, so you can go watch that. I'm not sure how it's going to hold up to tier 5, but we'll check it out, and maybe I'll make a video about that. But having a big account is really useful, especially if you have alts, because you can send tier 4 to, like, rallies and stuff for Guildfest, and it's a lot of fun to have a big castle when you go into, like, Dragon Arena, because, like, you can attack, and most people will send me a solo march with small troops, or they don't send me anything at all. I think I got rallied a couple times, but it was nothing big. It was like 400,000 troops, and maybe, I guess they just wanted to test my castle and see if they could burn me. They didn't burn anything. They didn't even like scratch my castle. So like, it can be fun, but yeah, you have to know how to play, especially if you can't eat a rally. If you're in, like, phase 2, you definitely don't want to be triggering Fury. And I've had a lot of guild members that have been in phase 2, and they get mad at somebody, and someone baits them into triggering Fury, and they're like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to attack their castles and risk it. Well, guess what? They end up getting zeroed, because there's always some Titan guild in the kingdom, and all it takes is one post of coordinates to chat, and your castle's zeroed. So I don't necessarily break shield to help reinforce against the big guild, because, I mean, the most you can send reinforce is like 1,000,000 troops, and if you think that a reinforcement is going to save your castle from, like, 200 or 2.3 million troops or 2.5 million troops with a rally leader that's got full champ gear, like breakthrough champ gear and familiars, and like you're not going to survive. So don't even think that a reinforcement is going to help you. I've watched castles fall like on YouTube videos. I've seen it like live in game where there's like an 800 million castle offline and their guild is just sending reinforcements, and regardless of the reinforcements that they send after 5 rallies, do that 800 million castles drop to like 400 million and it's zeroed out. And you can reinforce all day, but it's not going to help. It's going to slow the process probably a little bit and get you some kills, but most of the time, like if the castle that's being attacked is not online, their gear sucks, like they're no match for the rally leader that's attacking them, there's no point in reinforcements. All you're doing is exposing all of your guild members that are trying to help, and you're risking getting everyone zeroed. And I've had people leave my guild because they're like, no one reinforced me. I'm like, dude, you challenged the biggest guild in the kingdom. You think we're gonna let our castles get zeroed when we're trying to build something? So it really depends on who's in your guild that can take a rally. Because if you can't eat a rally, I don't advise trying to help someone else because you're gonna go down with them. That's the sad truth of this game. So if you want to run around and try to survive rallies with reinforcements, you need to go to like a giant guild where that's full of people that can eat rallies, that can reinforce you, and you need to plan it out. That way you can get full reinforcement. So, really though, if you're stupid enough to break Fury, to trigger Fury while you're in Stage 2, I feel bad for you. Or Phase 2, I mean. I feel bad for you because you took a lot of effort and time wasted into growing a castle into nothing. So, having a big castle it's a commitment in this game, and that's why you see a lot of players that go around and they're selling their accounts because they want to quit the game. They've been playing for years and they're done, and they just want to bow out, but they don't want their castle to be destroyed, you know. So they end up selling their accounts instead, and that's why you see a lot of that. And IGG does not condone. They do not allow or like people selling their accounts, but people pull it off anyway. You know, people are sneaky, so people do sell their accounts. I do not advise doing that just because it's against game rules, so on and so forth. I don't buy or sell accounts either. I'm all free to play, guys. So it is possible to get tier 4 as free to play. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of like gem farming. You have to build up your gem income every month, like really high. That way you can afford to buy the materials that you need for like the battle hall, the treasure trove itself, the altar, and the prison. So you have to get all of those buildings to 25 in order to get your academy to 25, and then after that, then you can continue your research into getting tier 4, which also takes a long time. So you're going to need a lot of speed ups. Save up your stars until you have like 100,000 stars, and just smash that Coliseum over and over and over and try to get a jackpot, because that will really help you. I ended up getting a jackpot about a year ago, maybe a little less than a year ago, and it really boosted me. I got like 900,000 gems out of it, and so I ended up spending all of that into like research, like almost every single gem into research, trying to boost myself to unlock tier 4, which I would have been able to unlock it without winning that jackpot, but jackpot definitely does help. It speeds things up a bit. But yeah, guys, if you want a big account like this and you want to put in that effort, try not to get zeroed. You know, try to be consistent every day, renewing your shields. I wouldn't bother with 3-day shields because there's 7 days in a week, and you can't. It's hard to remember. You can't shield on the same day every week, and it changes the routine, right? So I recommend using either 1-day shields or 7-day shields, 14-day shields, and make sure you set some kind of like alarm or something for it, and shield at the same time every day so you don't forget, you don't mess up. If you go on vacation, dude, just set a 2-week shield or a 1-week shield and give yourself a couple days longer than your vacation time. That way if something happens or you come back, and you can get back into the routine of getting on your account even if you take a break, because like I said, all it takes is, you know, a few minutes and you lose everything that you just spent like the last year building up. So big accounts, you know, if someone's free to play and they have a massive account with a lot of troops, you should respect that. You shouldn't criticize that and be like, oh, well, you suck because you're free to play. You know, from my point of view, it's a lot of effort put in, and anyone that plays free that has a big account like this one here, they understand the commitment and the work that's put into it. So don't always underestimate your opponent, because even just because they're free to play doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to eat your attack, or eat your solo and cap your leader, or even eat your rally, because apparently there are free to play rally traps out there. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do with these big accounts, but they're very risky. They're very high risk. And this game is almost like gambling. If you've been playing long enough, you realize you can spend a lot of money, but it all falls apart like a freaking Jenga tower, man. You pull out one block, you forget the shield, whole thing falls. So it's a lot of work, a lot of commitment. But yeah, I feel like I should talk about like how I got my account this big. So I started out in Kingdom 188, so that was my home kingdom. That was my first kingdom I started out in. I stayed there for several months, and I had a guy that like stalked my guild and like tried to like terrorize my guild. It was pretty nuts. Like, the guy was insane. He continued with his shenanigans for like a year, and by the time I was able to chase him off, I was about 80 mil, and he went to send one of my guild members an attack, and I sent a massive garrison, because back then I could hide all of my troops, so I could hide them and then send a garrison to try to cap his leader. And I don't think I would have capped it, but I would have killed a lot of his troops. But he pulled back and then left, and then about a week later I ended up getting his composition, because I caught him without a shield, and he was offline, didn't have an anti-scout or anything. So I got his composition, and then he left. I hadn't seen him since, but he chased my guild around for a while and gave me like a reason, like gave me the determination to grow my castle and to make more troops and to shield regularly and keep my castle safe and grow, because I realized if I didn't fight that guy off, he was just going to stick around forever. And so I managed to get big enough to do that. And so as much as I like really don't care for that guy, that player at all, I kind of like owe it to him for, you know, basically lighting a fire under my butt to get this account rolling, right? And then after that, it was pretty much just trying to grow the guild that I have, because, you know, people, especially the people that spend money, they don't want to stick around in a free-to-play guild. After a while, they feel like they outgrow it and they want to leave and expand. And, you know, it sucks to see good friends go that stay for like an entire year, but I understand, you know, you gotta go spread your wings and so on and so forth. So I get it. But so I was just growing my guild, and then my guild members, the ones that spend money, they start doing like higher level dark nests and stuff, and then after they leave and I'm here, like they leave, I'm once again the strongest player in the guild, I feel like I have to take the reins on trying to get that darkness defeated again, so everybody can continue at that level, that higher level of essence. So it's just me just pushing my castle, pushing myself, finding different ways to mass produce troops on top of growing and completing different constructions and research and stuff. And you just got to make sure that you remember to shield regularly. And I've had players come into the guild and they're like, dude, I've never seen a free-to-play account grow as fast as yours. And, you know, I explained to them how I grow my troops. Go! Quit chewing on stuff. This is my dog. He's chewing on the metal lever on the air conditioning vent. Leave it! Go find something else to chew on, like your toys. Puppies. Anyway, so there's just a lot of commitment, and there's a lot of benefit to growing a big castle. But if you maintain a routine regularly, like you'll get big in no time. You'll notice that your castle's getting stronger stat wise. You'll have more troops. You'll start being able to eat solos, and then if you want to try to grow past phase 2 into phase 3, be my guest. But I'll tell you, it's a long road. And it's just, you know, every couple of weeks you save up your speed ups, you save up your extra gems that you're not using, you use those gems to buy speed ups, and then use those speed ups to to mass produce your troops. And then you also have your hyper accounts to feed your main account resources, so you have the resources to train those troops. So it's a long process, and it takes a while. It's a lot of dedication. But once you get your account up there, and you're not, like, people can't pick on you anymore, you know, they call you out in chat. I have people that call me out all the time. They're like, do you 300 mil, you only got like 17 million kills. Yeah, so what? You want to send me a solo march? I'll relocate over to the woods and come back, and I'll let you send me a solo march. I got 17 million kills, so obviously I can't kill anything, right? Like, I don't fight. You want to send me a solo march? No, man, I'm good. Alright, that's what I thought. Shut up, you know? So, like, people will try to challenge me. They'll try to bait me. It happens all the time. People get mad. And they're like, dude, your castle's crap. You know, I can rally you and zero you out. I'm like, I know what I can handle, and I'm not stupid enough to put myself in a position to where I'm vulnerable, alright? That's why I'm this size. So, you know, I may not be able to eat this or eat that or take this, or, you know, maybe I can't take 5 rallies in a row, but I'm only going to let myself take what I know I can handle, you know? And then between those fights, I will grow my castle. Like I said, it's a process. So I do like Dragon Arena. I think it's a great addition to... I'm trying to see what my dog's doing. Where'd he go? Okay, I see him. So it's just a process. Dragon Arena, I feel, allows me to test my own castle. What I end up doing in Dragon Arena to test my might, test my strength, my stats, is that I'll switch over to my war stats or my war talents and everything, and go all out. And I'll try to find the biggest enemy castle in there and rally them and see if I can burn them. And if I can, I'll get their composition as well. Usually, if you rally them, if you have returning troops, you'll get a composition. So you'll be able to see what you hit. And you know, sometimes if they're really big, I will screenshot their gear and stuff and I'll ask them. I was like, dude, what are your stats? You know, try to figure out what I can handle offensively, so whenever I do decide to rally somebody, I know what I can handle. So that's really fun to do, and like I can do that in Trigger Fury and Dragon Arena and not really have to worry about consequences. So I've been trying to get someone to send a rally at me, that like a decent sized rally, but it hasn't happened yet. But I'm hoping it does. Because last time I took a rally, it hurt. It hurt. It was like a full T4 range. I took it about a year ago. Full T4 range. The guild lead or the rally leader was like full mythic champ. Familiars, like they hit me with a Blackwing too. Which if you have ever been hit by a Blackwing, that shit sucks. It sucks. So yeah, he hit me with that, and he ended up killing like a million troops. Well, killed and wounded combined, it was a million troops. I only lost like I think I lost like 600 mil or something like that. So yeah, it hurt, but not 600 mil. I lost 600,000. I lost 600,000, healed the rest, but it wasn't too bad. And that was before we have the that was before we had the what do you call it? The this thing. This thing. It was before we had the sanctuary. So I mean, if I took that hit now, I'd survive it, right? Even with the Blackwing, because like I get 80% of my troops saved in the sanctuary. It's not, but I'm not going to go out looking for trouble. You know, I'm going to pace myself, see what I can handle, little by little. So I've grown a lot since I took that rally. I was trolling that guild, and I didn't mean to take that rally. Sad thing, man. I was about to hit that shield button, and someone called my phone, and like my phone froze up because I was recording. I had the game running on my phone, and then when someone sent me that mess or sent me that called my phone, like it lagged my phone. My phone restarted, and by the time I was able to get back online again, they had a second rally started, and I was able to shield it for the second rally. If they hit me with that second rally, I would have been toast, man. But the rally leader sent me a message. Well, I sent him a message, and I said, "LOL, good rally." That I meant to shield. Someone called my phone and froze it. It was unintentional. And he told me, he was like, hey, leave it. My dog is hyper today. But he told me and said, props. He said, I expected to zero you out in the first one. He said, you took one hell of a hit pretty well. I told him, I said, thanks, I'm free to play. And he was like, holy crap, are you serious? Like, he said, I've never seen a free-to-play castle take a full-range T4 rally like that. It was pretty sick. Like, let's see if I can find the report in here, because I still have it. I'll show you guys. I don't know if it's kind of old, so I don't know if I'll be able to look at the details, but 5-0 run. I think this was it. Took that. Yeah, here it was. Here it is. So as you can see, at the time I had I had 3 million troops. I can't remember if I had just unlocked tier 4 or if I was close, because I was heading to unlock tier 4, and I was in like all of my stats and everything, I think. So I had my gear on, my war stats. No, see, it's expired, but I think I had like 100,000 siege, because I usually keep 100,000 siege. So I probably had like 2.9 mil tier 3, roughly, something like that, total. And then as you can see, they hit pretty hard. Like they took out like half my troops. I got 318,000 wounded, and this is back in December 2019, so it was a little less than a year ago, but 2.3 million tier 4 range came at me. Like, that hurt. And you can see the familiars they're rocking here. I'm not sure which familiars these skills belong to off the top of my head, but Hearty Feast, Long Shot, and Whirlwind. And all I had was this Deadly Slash and this Drown Out, which wasn't even maxed all the way. As you can see, it wasn't even maxed out, that familiar. So like it hurt, man. Like it sucked, but it gave me an idea of how strong I had gotten over time because I realized, holy crap, I wasn't zeroed out completely. Would I do it again? Probably not. Probably not. Would you ever purposefully hurt your castle like that? No. Not really. So, like, it hurt, but, like, you see, he didn't cap me or anything like that. But, I lost a lot of might. Like, that hurt. I was like, I think I was like, 140 mil, something like that at the time. And then after the hit, I was like 102, 104. So, like, I lost a lot of might, but it was all troops, and I grew it all back and then some. So, like, it hurt, but I mean, every once in a while you have to take a hit out of curiosity. But I've seen some people just trigger fury when they know they're not going to be able to survive a rally, and they get zeroed out, and then they're like, Alpha, why didn't you reinforce me? I'm like, dude, I told you not to trigger that fury. I told you not to do it, but you did it anyway. And I told him, I was like, dude, you need to learn a lesson from stupidity. So, like, you know, some people get mad, they leave the guild or whatever, but that's their own stupidity. Like, I sit here and I teach people how to play, and when they don't follow my guidelines or whatever, you know, my suggestions, they don't listen to me, they do something stupid and they get mad that I didn't try to save them. I'm like, dude, no. I'm not going to save you from you being stupid, you know. So, anyway, that's kind of like my views on what it's like to have a big account and what I do to support a big account, like how to get there. It's a long, bumpy road, guys, but if you can do it, it's worth it. It's a lot of fun. It's a big feeling of success that you have something special that a lot of free-to-players don't have. And this is how to support yourself. You don't even have to be in a big guild to do this, man. If you have the resource hyper accounts, you can support yourself. You don't have to worry about other people. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you learned something today. I'm sure some of you probably don't agree, but like you can't please everyone, right? So go ahead and check out my other videos and see the different methods that I use even to today on growing a big account. And hope you learned something. Grow your own big accounts. Stay safe. Peace out, guys. See ya on the next one.